All right, we are live. Well, hope you guys all had a great weekend. I did. Hopefully you guys did as well. Today was a little bit busy though. Got late started on doing all the research for the show tonight, so there's not much going on as far as markets are concerned because obviously markets are closed tomorrow. But I did start to add in Nebius into our spreadsheets as well. I have some preliminary results on them. I still have to do a lot more deep dive going back I still need another 7 quarters to go back. So I just started that. Today, I'm going to continue to do work on that during this week, but I'll give you guys at least my thoughts on it right now, more or less as where I think it should be kind of valued at. Other than that, we'll take a look at how the miners did against Bitcoin this past week, and we got some good news stories as well for Bitcoin possibly. We have also a video that was provided to me by Rob. He's in the chat there, so we'll take a look at that. It's actually pretty funny, but it's so true as well. We'll take a look at that, and we'll get into everything else. So thank you so much for coming in, as always, but you guys know this. Full disclosure below that. If you would be so kind and hit the like button, subscribe, helps me out. Doesn't cost you anything there. But let's take a look at what's going on here with Bitcoin right now. So Bitcoin was basically flat over the weekend. There was not much happening with it. It was up a little bit on Saturday. We came back down here. We were up a little bit on Sunday, but then we came back down here. So we were up a little bit, 1.42% on Saturday. We were down here, 1.43% on Sunday here. We're down a little bit as well. Markets, like I said, are closed tomorrow because of the holiday there. What is it? President's Day, I believe it is. So that's going to be a boring day tomorrow. We'll see if we do a show tomorrow, if we have anything to talk about. If not, we'll probably hold off until maybe Tuesday's show to do that. Okay. Miners, we talked about those on Friday, how they did, right? So they had a pretty good day overall, a nice bounce there, which is nice to see. So that's it. Let's see, how did Hive do here, or Hive? Ethereum. Let's see, Ethereum was actually up on Saturday. It was up 1.85% today. For some reason, it was down 5.76%. So it was actually did worse than Bitcoin did. All right. And that's it for that. Bitcoin here for the month of February. We're down 13.43%. We're now halfway past the month here of February. We have another, what is it now? 13 days left to go or something like that. Because today's the 15th. So can we turn this around and actually get a green month here in February? If we don't, this would be the first time in history for Bitcoin where we've had January being red and February being red. We've never had this happen here before. So that would definitely be an interesting event to see unfold, right? And then that would also give us to having 5 actual months of being in the red here. This would be actually our second time I think we would have that. The last time we had it here was in 2018, right? We had it in August, September, October, November, December, and then we went into 2019 in January as well, 5 months here. I think that's the only time that's the only other time that we've had it. So this would be the second occurrence of that happening here. All right, there's that. Then as far as Bitcoin ETF inflows, outflows, just a little update here on Friday. We did have a slight positive. We were up 15.1 in inflows here from the reporting parties for Bitcoin ETF inflows. So IBIT, Fidelity, Bitwise, ARK, all the rest here as well. Yeah, so Bitcoin did actually pretty good on Friday, all things considered. We didn't have that many inflows or that much inflows from the ETFs there. All right, so there's that. We're going to watch a quick video here. Hopefully you guys can hear this. Let's take a listen to it. So this is point of view when you listen to non-traders, right? And down below it says, never listen to non-traders. This reminds me so much of when I first started getting into crypto back in 2017, 2018. Like I've said many, many times before, I probably would have had more Bitcoin than I do now if it wasn't to a similar fact like this. But this is for
time to buy me some Ethereum. Nice.
Right, you buy it.
Sell it.
Get it cheaper.
Take a loss on it, sell it. What happens? It starts going back up.
We're going to the moon. It's going up.
You buy it again at when it's going up, and then it starts going down. Sell again, and it starts going back up. This was kind of my life at the beginning of 2017, 2018, 2020, 2019, even 2020. I lost more than I probably would have ended up with. So, yeah. Right, that's just the way it goes. So that's why I've changed the way I do things going forward. I'm more into investing for the long term on things because I am... personally, I'm terrible at trading these things, trying to trade them, or being a trader. For me, it's worked out better just to buy the things that I have high conviction in and dollar cost average into them. And that has, so far, knock on wood, has actually worked out pretty well for me, where my profits are still really, really good here, all things considered. But it wasn't easy at times, right? We've been through it. We talked about it when things were coming down. We were at certain points, we were in the red. But having that conviction there has definitely helped out and gotten us to a much better position in here right now as it is. So, yeah, I thought that was funny, and thanks for Rob for sharing that with us. Next here, we got this from Vivek. Bitcoin just hit a 5-year price support. Last time this happened, Bitcoin went up 650%. Tighten your seatbelts. This would be great, right? Could we still go down a little bit more here based on the chart that he's showing us here? Right, we did go right below that 5-year support there. We did that back here as well, back in, what was it, 2022 it looks like. Then we went up obviously much higher from there. Let's see if we can do the same thing here again this time around. Time will only tell. Next one here is also from Vivek. Elon Musk's 1.25 trillion AI giant XAI is now hiring Bitcoin and crypto experts. We are going mainstream, right? They are doing the X money internally already. They're basically dog fooding it, what the industry likes to call dog fooding. We use it internally until it gets good enough, and then you actually release it to a beta or something like that for select few participants there, and then you finally release it public to everybody. So that is actually good news, because there's obviously like 700 to possibly 1 billion users on X right now. You give them access to get into crypto or Bitcoin, other things as well. It's going to be obviously a lot of adoption happening potentially as well on top of it. So that would be great. And then lastly here, we got this. Michael Saylor just says that Strategy will announce their 99th Bitcoin purchase tomorrow, and it will be larger than their previous week. So they're continuing to buy here. That's awesome to see. Love seeing that. You guys know my thoughts on Strategy, right? I love the fact that they're doing it. I'm not a big fan of treasury companies. I'm not sure that they should get that huge of a premium, right, on the MNAV. I think somewhere between 1.0 to 1.3 I think is good. At times we might be able to get even 2 MNAV on it, especially when Bitcoin is going in a rocket stage and going up much faster. But it always needs to pull back down to somewhere between 1.0 and 1.3, in my opinion at least, right? There's definitely many more on-ramps to Bitcoin here nowadays than we had in the past, where that MNAV premium was the only way you could possibly do it here with Strategy and the Bitcoin miners. Now you have the ETFs, you got also options, you got futures. There's just so many ways in ETFs, and there's just so many ways you can get into Bitcoin now. I'm not sure that the premium is warranted there beyond a certain amount. Okay. But I love that they're buying it. That's great. It takes Bitcoin obviously off the exchanges. Well, it doesn't take it off the exchange. It takes it off the OTC desk. So I would love to see them do it on the exchanges, taking it off of there, but they're still buying it. They're taking it off, basically locking up that supply in a cold wallet someplace. Okay. So that's it for that. Lastly here, we're just going to take a look at the miner share versus Bitcoin this past week. We always look at this top chart here, which is how the miners have performed along with Bitcoin and Strategy in there. Strategy, I'm missing the data on it. For some reason, my app is having issues today. It's got a little bit of a cold, so it's not pulling in the data. But what we look at is how far the miners are up from the 52-week lows and how far away they are from the 52-week highs as well. We can see that we had a switch here this past week where Cypher has actually overtaken IREN here, being in number 1 position. So Cypher's up 782% from its bottom in the last 52 weeks, and IREN is up 723%. Those guys keep battling between each other there. TeraWulf sometimes also does really good. TeraWulf is up 689%. Then you got Hut up 436%. Bitfarms even up 218%. Core 187, Riot 145, Hive 75, Cleanspark 52, BitDeer 47%. Strategy we don't know. Marathon only 18.9, Bitcoin up 17.4, and Kango only up 10%. So a lot of these guys have done at least 2x to 3x better than Bitcoin, and obviously even more than that at times, like 10x, right? Even more than that. So this past 52 weeks have been actually really good for the miners here nonetheless. And you can see how far away they are from the 52-week highs here. The closest one is TeraWulf, only being down 8.1%. It reached a new high last week. You got Hut 8 also being not too far away, 18.5%. And then everybody else, you can see how they stack up there. For last week, it was kind of mixed. We had some that were in the green, some were in the red. A majority were in the red, though. But TeraWulf was up 14%. That was a result of them buying additional sites. I think that helped them out tremendously. Cypher was also up nicely, 11%. Core was up 6%. Riot was up 5%. Hut was up 2%. IREN was up just 1% there overall. Bitfarms was flat on the week. Strategy was down 1%. Cleanspark was down 2%. Marathon was down 4%. Hive down 5%. Kango down 9%. Bitcoin was down 16% last week. And I track it Friday to Friday, as you guys know. And then BitDeer was down 20%. That one definitely got smacked hard after the release of their quarterly results. Okay. So there's on the 1 week. Look at the 4 weeks time frame. TeraWolf is the only one that's leading here, up 15%. Everybody else is down, with some being down like 30%, 20%, some a little bit less there. 8 weeks time frame, we kind of see the same situation here where we've had, these like 5 guys here, or 5 companies. TeraWolf, Cypher, Core, Riot, Hut, and IREN being up in the green here, while others have been in the red here more or less. Bitcoin is down 20% from 8 weeks ago. Kango is down 37%. And then lastly, here on the 12 weeks time frame, that definitely looks a little bit different here. HUD 8 outperforming everybody here, up 20% from then. And everybody else quite in the red there, except for TeraWolf and Core being up 5% and 6% respectively there. All right, so here's the data that we do have on all this stuff here. I'm going to be adding Nebius into it as well. Nebius I just started to add into the data that I have here for all of these guys. But they're in here. So I don't have a lot of data into it yet, and I don't have all the charts. I just started with their, their latest quarterly results here, which I inputted all the data here for it. So I'm starting to go from there. I'm going to work my way back just to get a better picture of it. Also get as much data as I can as far as their contracts, their megawatts, what they have currently available and what they're going to have in the future there. But overall, based on just if we look at their quarterly results here for the past quarter, they obviously had some great revenue, but they also had a lot of expenses there. I'm in between $36 and $54 right now if we just take their quarterly results here, multiply times 4, which is, like I said, this is just preliminary results right now. Things will definitely change once I get more data into it and see where they are. Also, this is old. This is not accurate here. For the institution side of things, I still need to update that. So it is still a work in progress, but I should have this done by the end of the week here. I'm hoping to pull in all the data. Then we'll have obviously all the charts and data. We can see what's actually going on with the company there. And I'll try to include all the deals that they have signed up already as it is. And we'll take a much more deeper dive into them at that point when that does happen here. So Nebius is the one I'm working on right now. There's going to be other ones I'm going to be working on as well. The other ones I want to work on and get data for also is going to be, excuse me. Let me see. There's one. Let me see. It's going to be over here, I think. Do I have it in here? I may not have it in here. Or maybe I do. Nope, I don't have it in here. It might be under this one. Applied Digital. Applied Digital is the other one that I want to get into as well. So we'll pull that one in also. And then maybe even look at CoreWeave down the road there going forward. So that's it. That's all I got for you. Hopefully you guys have a great week. And, well, first we got to get into Q&A, and then I'll wish you guys all a great week ahead. All right, let's get to Q&A here. As always, spreadsheets available to Patreon members. Link for that is down in the description. If you'd like to join, helps me out. It's a couple bucks a month. Not a bad deal for all the data that I have to gather for you guys there. Okay, let's get into Q&A and see what you guys have to say here. We'll get in from the top and work our way down as always. All right. See, SKS, this I replied to him in the comments there. By when do you see Bitfarms starting to go up, Q2 or Q4 2026? Basically sets in the middle, I'm guessing the second half of the year, unless all of these guys start running here in the coming days, months, weeks, whatever it might be, then they could also run with them. As far as Bitfarms or Nebius to buy and hold, I need to do some more research on Nebius. Right now it's just preliminary results for it. Once I have done my full due diligence on Nebius, at that point I can probably give you a better estimation as far as where I think things are going based on what their pipeline is, everything else. Right now it's kind of hard to do that. Talked about that, right? Preliminary results. So you guys saw where that is right now. All right. Will Bitcoin bottom in November 2026 like previous cycles? That is if we have a similar cycle to like the past, right? So the 4-year cycle, right now we would be in a bear market, right? We're down 50% from our highs. If we bounce from here, this would be a continuation of an extended cycle potentially. If we go down lower, then yes, I would think that maybe we would bottom out somewhere, maybe October, November timeframe during this year. Okay. Okay. Rob says, I couldn't stop laughing when I saw the video. Yeah, me too. There's definitely a good video there and a quite honest perspective of actual life in trading, right? If what could happen there. Blue says MicroStrategy one more BTC. We'll see. Hoping that miners come back so that I can purchase some IREN, Cypher, and Wolf. Well, right now would be a good time to get into them if you haven't already gotten into them, right? You don't really want them to come back to the highs because then you're buying at much higher prices. But if you can get them in now, might be a good time. Not financial advice. All right. Carl, question you may have covered already, but what is your take on how Bitfarms shares will transfer to Keel? And will both Bitfarms and Keel both trade? How many shares will Keel have? It's just basically they're just changing their name. So the number of shares that are there, it's going to be the same number of shares. It's just going to trade under the ticker symbol Keel instead of BITF. That's the only change there, right? They're changing their name and then also going to be domiciled in the United States there. So that's the only change. They're not doing any reverse splits or anything like that with the shares. It's basically just, what is it? I wouldn't say technical. It's a formality, I guess. All right, Michael says, what do you think on Tiger that a brokerage in Hong Kong has upgrades to $14? And see, I'm not sure who Tiger is even. So I couldn't tell you there. Must pay and buy, sell, transfer, trade gold, Bitcoin, and the rest. Okay, yeah, I'm not sure on that one. John, how many rate cuts do you see this year? ARMS are going to reset soon to a much higher mortgage rates, making house payments impossible to afford. This will cause some regional banks to fail. You're talking about the ARM mortgages, I believe is what you're talking about there. How many rate cuts do I think? Well, if we get the nominee that Trump wants, I'm guessing we'll probably see at least maybe well, depending on the rate cuts that we see. So it could be like 250 basis points. Or we could see maybe like maybe three, 25 basis points or two 25 basis points and 150 basis points, something like that. We could see possibly that as well. Not sure, right? I mean, things are pointing that we should be lowering interest rates. Obviously, we saw the CPI data come in pretty good. We saw also jobs kind of doing a little bit better there. So there's really no reason why we can't lower rates and still have a pretty good economy going forward there. Michael says, I don't think Powell won't be cutting no more, but the next Fed, yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking there as well. John says the Fed will do an immediate rate cut, probably 50 basis points, and bring massive liquidity in to stop a disaster. Rate cuts will continue and Bitcoin will explode higher. I saw minimum 250,000. Okay, that would be great. Let's see here. Ryan celebrates 36 months of membership. Awesome. Thank you, Ryan. 35 months, so almost 3 years. Wow. Nervous buying Cleanspark sub $10. I bought it not last week, the week before. I bought it sub $10 at that point. I was not nervous at all. I was happy to get in at that price. John, every time the Fed floods Wall Street with massive liquidity, risk assets skyrocket. Yep, we've seen that as well. And that's it. So, do we have anything else coming in here as far as questions? I don't think so. All right. Yeah, tomorrow, like I said, tomorrow the markets are going to be closed. So it's going to be a boring day, more or less. Bitcoin obviously is still going to trade. Ethereum's going to trade. All the crypto's going to trade. But all the things that we want to talk about are not trading. So I doubt there's going to be any news releases from anybody. We're still waiting on Riot to release their production update. I don't know if they're going to do that or not. If they're going to stop, this year. Let me see here. Let me see if I can look at my minor comparison. Here's my minor comparison here. So we have had Riot report all the way through December here, and we're already halfway through the month, and I haven't seen anything from them. So that makes me a little bit concerned that they're probably not going to do those anymore, which would unfortunately leave us only with 4 miners now reporting their Bitcoin productions for the monthly timeframes. We still have Hive, Cleanspark, Kango, Bitdeer, they're reporting them. And we've obviously had Cypher, Core, IREN even stopped doing it. Mara, same thing. Mara, I just pulled in some data from some of the people that report it, that cover them very, very closely. I put that in, but they don't report. So out of the 11, we might be down to 4, which would be a shame. I think they can still do those reports and still provide a bunch of good information on their progress on AI ambitions and all that stuff. But that's just me. I like data. I don't see it as... It shouldn't take them that long to pull this data in. I mean, they should have the data in already. It's just putting it in a nice little document. You could have even AI do it now. And it wouldn't take you more than maybe 30 seconds to do it. Right? Not that much of a headache. But it is what it is. We'll obviously deal with it, and we'll evolve from this and look at other data, I guess. Let's go back to Q&A. Got a couple questions coming in here right now. Let's see, where is it at? Talked about that one. Okay. Benny says, clean a buy under $8. Yeah, I mean, geez, if you can get it under $8, that would be great. I would probably buy in some more at that point. Ryan says, think Cleanspark could be sub $5 before November. No, if you listen to the latest videos from Matt Schultz there, the CEO, and interviews, they sound pretty confident that they're going to be getting a deal like within the next, I'm guessing, couple of weeks, couple of months maybe. So I don't think we're going to get to sub $5 unless Bitcoin goes down, markets go down, everything goes down with it. But if they get a deal, I would expect a nice bounce for them at that point. But time will tell, right? If we do go below 8, I'd be buying again on that one. I think there's a lot of possibility that that thing goes up higher, much higher by the end of the year, given that they have obviously a deal with somebody, depending on the size of the deal, right? A 5 megawatt deal is not going to be that great, but if they do like a 50, 100 megawatt deal, even 200 megawatt deal, that'd be huge. So that'd be a great help there. Let's see. Rob says, Seb, I've been observing the JP Morgan is the enemy of the precious metals, Bitcoin, and the stock market. Well, JP Morgan is JP Morgan. They're going to, you got with them, it's kind of one of those things where you got to not listen to what they say, but watch what they do. Because it was the same thing with Bitcoin for a long time, and then in the background, they were preparing all this stuff here. It's the same thing with stocks. They'll bash a stock because they want to get in lower, and then they'll get in lower, and then they'll hype it up. So, Benny said, should I buy clean? It can double if it gets a deal. That's up to you. I've been continuing to buy it, but it was well, not this past Friday, but the prior Friday to that, I bought it as well. I added some more into it, and I would probably buy it again if it goes below, $9, $8 would go below that. I'd be buying it. They have, I mean, what do they have? They got, was it 2 sites now in Texas, I think, they purchased. They have a great sites around the Atlanta, Georgia area as well that could be used for it. And I think that's the one that's going to be probably a deal for that site, probably more so than others. Maybe maybe it's the Texas sites. I don't know, but I think it's more the Atlanta, Georgia site. Carl says, let's just remember this Friday's Options Friday. Okay, so there's going to be some shenanigans happening on there. We have had Bitcoin actually do pretty well here the last 2 Fridays. So could we be in for a bad Friday that's coming up? Yeah, it might be due for one of those. So we'll see. All right, that's it. We'll call it a day. We'll see what happens tomorrow. I doubt anything's going to massive happen tomorrow, but if it does, we'll do a show. If nothing happens massively, then not much to talk about. We'll probably get back into swing on things on Tuesday at that point. Okay. But again, wish you all a great week ahead. And yeah, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens at that point. All right. Love you all. I hope you guys have a great one. Enjoy this nice week. And hopefully you guys have nice weather. Today was gorgeous where I was. It was like almost 60, 70 degrees, which I love. I love warmer weather. I don't like the cold. But I'm rambling on here. I'll see you guys either tomorrow or on Tuesday. All right. Have a good one.